I said good day, sir.
You don't ever plan anything around the Eagles because the Eagles represent the grace of God,
Okay.
you heathen bastards.
What a vanilla nebbish name.
Well, you know, orcs are people too.
I'm thinking of that one cult that got taken out with one punch. So he's got a wall, a gall, and a wall. Every time you mention the Eagles, I think Don Henley. Geek History of Time,
where we connect nerdery to the real world. I'm Ed Blaylock. I'm a 7th grade world history teacher here in Northern California, and I spend 1 hour of my day working at trying to teach 7th graders also how to use the English language effectively, which is harder than you might think. I am also very happy to say I am the father of a 22-month-old little boy. Who are you, sir?
I'm Damian Harmony. I'm a Latin teacher who spends 1 hour of my day teaching kids history. So the inversion of yourself up here in Northern California.
Well, except that English isn't actually a dead language.
Well, that's true. It's just the...
it's dying by degrees.
No, it's the dog
it's
in
mutating.
the thing.
Yeah, okay, good point.
Yeah,
right. That's a frighteningly good analogy.
Very accurate.
Yeah.
I am a father of a 9, almost 10-year-old and a 7-year-old here in Northern California. And I am here for this podcast because you promised me a fandom that I rather enjoyed twice over.
Yeah, well, yeah, we both did.
Yeah.
We both did. So tell me what you think of first.
Okay.
That's how I want to open this. What do you think of... All right, that's a good one.
All right.
You know what? And now I could go for a brie right now, I got to tell you.
Yeah.
But no, what do you think of first when I mention Battlestar Galactica? What is the first image? I'm going to say image. What is the first image that pops into your head?
Startlingly hot blonde woman. And I don't like blondes.
Yeah.
She was uncomfortably gorgeous.
Yeah.
Hang on. Let me think.
For a reason.
Yeah. And then, what else? Fat Leah Dama.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those are the two things that I think of.
All right. I find it interesting that I say that, and the first of the two series that you go to is the newer one.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm not as old as you.
Fuck you, man.
Producer George just gave me 2 birds.
Yeah.
With one stone.
With one stone.
Yes.
Yeah.
I went to the Chinese Cylon.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, the toaster.
The toast. The full on. Yeah, that's a good one.
Okay, the first thought I have when you say that is face from on the A-Team.
Yeah.
Watching it walk by.
Starbucks.
Dirk Benedict.
Yes. Dirk Benedict, who
I thought that was a character
out
name.
to be a complete. Well, number one, number two, alas, turned out to be kind of a regressive asshole.
Wow, wouldn't have seen that coming.
Well,
next, you're going to tell me George Papard was a misogynist.
I have no evidence either way, but sadly, I wouldn't be shocked.
Oh, the A-Team is evidence, actually, because when Amy was not brought back for the next season, it was because he was like, we don't need women on this team.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Shit.
And he got his way because he loved it when a plan comes together.
Yeah.
But back to...
okay.
Okay, so the old Battlestar Galactica, much more browns. There was a guy dressed up like a hawk. There was a little droid that would go beady, 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 beady.
No, that's... No. God damn it. No. That's Buck Rogers.
Oh.
Which was itself a retread of a much older black and white... cereal.
Yeah, with Ming the Conqueror.
Yeah,
the Merciless.
And we've talked about it, and no, damn it. No, that's Flash fucking Gordon.
Oh, right, that's the one with Wally West.
Oh.
And no, it was Wally West and
that fucking hurts.
And it was Wally West and the daughter of the police commissioner's son.
Actually,
that's what it was.
Actively killing me, squeezing the life out of me. So, anyway, having established that, I think I have a theory about why it is when I say Battlestar Galactica.
Yes.
The newer series is the one that resonates first
Okay.
for you.
Now,
this is a theory.
Before you commit to it fully, I want to point out that I never watched it when it was airing. I only ever watched it after the fact. Yes.
Okay.
I was about 2 or 3 or 5 years after.
Okay. I actually think that may strengthen my theory.
Do it.
In an odd way.
I want to hear it.
But we're gonna come to that.
Yeah.
So I want to start with the history of the show.
Okay.
For this one. So Battlestar Galactica originally aired 1978, 1979 on ABC.
Wow.
Okay. The pilot aired on September 17th, 1978. It was, where do I have it here? The pilot movie broadcast was actually interrupted on the East Coast for live announcement of the signing of the Camp David Accords.
Oh, wow.
To give you an idea of when it happened. And the original show lasted a season. It was 24 episodes.
1 hour or half hour?
I want to say half hour.
Okay.
I'd have to look that back up, but right now, I think half hour.
Okay.
And so it's 1978, 1979. It's a saga about a bunch of people in space. What does that sound like as a pop culture phenomenon that might have been going on also around that time?
Bunch of people in space.
Yeah.
Saga.
Yeah.
Well, I know Dallas had just come out that same year. So
Yeah.
I'm thinking it's probably people
JR.
who are, yeah.
Yeah.
Oil tycoons.
Okay, who shot Starbuck? Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, totally.
Ross Perot starting his own galactic expedition.
Okay, I know you're
A
trying
Texas
something.
millionaire.
Oh, okay. All right.
Like, yeah,
All right. Yeah.
going and rescuing
Yeah.
hostages, trying to do his own mission.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, and actually succeeding.
I had forgotten about that. Yeah.
No, okay, 78, so that would be about a year after I was born, a
Yes.
little less. And
Always with the reminders about
yes,
that.
and I live in a world that has always had Star Wars.
Yes.
Yes.
So.
Oh, they're capitalizing on Star Wars.
Yes.
Oh.
Very.
Wait. When was the holiday special?
Oh, that's a really good question. I didn't think about that one.
Oh,
but
wow.
I think the holiday special would have been
the next year, right?
Would have been.
78?
I think the next year it might very well have been. So yeah, it was transparently at the time an attempt to cash in on the SF craze that surrounded Star Wars. Because remember, at the same time, this is also when Battle Beyond the Stars got made.
That's the one where they all join, like all the people from daytime TV shows join the circus, and then they do things like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Totally. No. It's
that's Circus
the
of
one,
the Stars. That's different.
That's
Okay,
Circus
yeah.
of the Stars.
Battle of the Network Stars. Okay.
Battle Beyond the Stars was a Corman flick. Actually, James Cameron got called in as a brand newbie. Turns out, I just learned this the other day. Battle Beyond the Stars was the first movie Cameron did special effects on.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
And Harvey Korman directed that.
Yes.
Okay.
No. You. Roger Corman. You.
The guy who wrote The Road?
Contrarian. Yeah.
Roger Corman McCarthy?
Fucking Ravenclaw. Your own fucking cleverness. All right. So anyway.
But just so you know, Star Wars Holiday Special was 1978. It was 1 year
so
after.
all right, yeah. So it's still in the middle of the pop culture juggernaut that nobody had expected Star Wars to become.
Right. Space was capturing the imagination.
Yeah. And so Star Wars hit the space is capturing the popular imagination, combined that with, and by the way, we're going to use the Campbellian monomyth, and that just turned into like Zeitgeist crack.
Okay.
And so everybody wanted to find something to capitalize on that angle.
Right.
ABC went with Battlestar Galactica.
Wow.
And it's worth.
I'm just more amazed that it's ABC driving this forward. Like, this is bought out by Disney and do this Sunday afternoon or Sunday evening movie. Yeah. It's ABC trying to work their way in there because CBS is running this shit at this time.
Yeah, no, as far as network TV goes, yeah.
Like, NBC is 3 years into SNL, but it's really
it's not
a niche thing.
Yeah.
But, like, CBS, I think, had Dallas. CBS had MASH.
Yeah.
Well, those are two really heavy hitters.
Well,
I
they're
mean,
the juggernauts.
But
of
they
the
also
day
had All in the
terms of-
Family, if I recall.
Yeah. Yeah. So
So-
CBS controlled all the juggernauts of the day in terms of broadcast TV, which was the only kind of TV there was at this point.
Right.
And so ABC was trying to fight against the 900-pound gorilla
Right.
by capitalizing on the space angle. This is what they did.
Mm-hmm.
Isaac Asimov wrote a review of
Oh.
Battlestar Galactica. And
Wow.
and the best quote out of it was, he said, "Star Wars was fun and I enjoyed it. But Battlestar Galactica was Star Wars all over again, and I couldn't enjoy it without amnesia."
Wow.
Yeah. 20th Century Fox actually sued Universal over plagiarism. Universal was producing
Wow.
BSG. 20th Century Fox sued him, claiming 34 points stolen by BSG from Star Wars. Universal countersued, saying Star Wars stole points from Silent Running and Buck Rogers,
Yeah?
which it did.
Yeah. No, that's an homage.
Yeah, in nice. In 83, the case was resolved out of court.
Yeah, okay. Lucas made his money enough to
Yeah,
be
it'd
like,
be
all right,
like, yeah, whatever,
go ahead
whatever.
and
Yeah,
pay
yeah,
them.
yeah.
By the way,
you
just-
had 24 episodes, whatever.
just for
fuck off.
funsies,
Yeah.
other ABC TV shows that are
Yeah.
debuting,
Yeah.
Fantasy Island and Different Strokes.
Okay.
Charlie's Angels is 2 years old. It's almost
Oh,
on its
wow.
way to the
Out, yeah.
midpoint.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, well, I know that
Holy
Happy
crap.
Days was on ABC,
Yeah.
but it had been there for a while.
Yeah.
Welcome Back, Kotter.
Oh, yeah.
That had been around for a little bit. Wonder Woman
Okay.
had been around for a little bit. This was its last year.
Yeah. When does Barney Miller show up?
Barney Miller is there in, I think they started in 75.
Okay.
And
Year I was born.
yes. Yeah, wow.
an
That is an
old
old
guy.
TV show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
might be. So, all right.
Yeah.
So that's thank you for that
Mm-hmm.
context, because that kind of gives you an idea of what the landscape looked like.
yeah.
Now, for the lone listener of our podcast who doesn't know the plot of the
shit.
original Battlestar Galactica,
Taxi too. Started
yeah.
in 78.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Holy crap!
Yeah. I'm deep diving on that.
Yeah,
Sorry.
okay?
Yeah.
So, but for the one of you who's listening to this podcast who doesn't know what the original BSG was about,
Yes.
the 12 colonies or tribes of humanity have been waging a millennium-long war against the robotic Cylons. Now, the background of the Cylons was kind of nebulous, but we find out that they being robots, they were built by a reptiloid race that they had risen up against and destroyed.
Oh wow.
And so the Cylons and humanity were involved in this millennium-long war. And at the very, very beginning of the pilot film, there is a truce
Okay.
between humanity and the Cylons.
Okay.
The Cylons betray the terms of the ceasefire, launching a surprise attack against the colonies. All 12 of them all at the same
All
time.
right.
220 ships escape,
Okay.
led and defended by the lone remaining capital ship, the Galactica,
Okay.
the titular ship of the show.
The
Eponymous.
battle arc.
Yes. Desperate to escape, the fleet flees off into the void, searching for the lost 13th colony, a distant planet known as Earth. I can't do Lorne Green's
Sure.
voice to save my life. Nobody can, but yeah. So,
So wait, the Cylons were built by a different race,
yes.
betrayed them,
Yeah.
took over, and
Yeah.
then they warred with us. I just have the feeling that that's significant, given what I know of the new series.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, it's definitely a very important point of difference
Yes.
when we get to talking about the new series.
Yes.
Now, so 12 colonies,
Uh huh.
12 tribes.
The zodiac signs. It's tribes of Israel. It's tribes of the Etruscans.
Oh,
It's
all
a
right,
very
yeah.
frankly,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
a Mediterranean thing
Yeah,
because
yeah.
the Egyptians counted in base 12.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so
I hadn't
it
known that
was-
was the root of it.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it was your digits on your fingers. Either Egyptians or the Babylonians. I always flip flop them.
Okay.
But it's you count by fingers, never thumbs, and you count the digits 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's why we have 12 hours in our clock.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Awesome.
the number 12, very, very important in
Yeah.
the Mediterranean culture, which of course works its way into
and it's
Western
symbolic,
culture.
and it has symbolic overtones
Yeah.
of all kinds. So the reason I specifically talk about 12 tribes
Uh-huh.
is because Glenn Larson, the series creator.
He was writing on the far side.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Different Larson.
Ah.
But he stated in the process of writing the pilot and in the process of doing all that, he explicitly included points from Mormon theology in the plot of the show, which Mormon theology makes a very big deal of the 12 tribes of Israel.
Right.
Because the ancestors of the Native Americans are believed in Mormon theology to have been one of those
tribe.
a lost tribe
Right.
of Israel, and it gets into all kind of stuff with that.
Yeah.
There is in Mormonism there is a mystical planet known as Kolob.
Mm-hmm.
In Battlestar Galactica, the Lords of Kobol
Oh, just flip-flop letters.
were the mystical kind of mystical
Spiritual council.
Spiritual. Well, they were encountered they found the planet Kobol, and it was like the root source of the colonies.
Okay.
Themselves.
It's from where the 12
Sprang. Yeah.
Okay, I get you.
And so there were alien races encountered who are angelic.
Okay.
You know, I mean, like really clearly leaning real hard on angelic imagery, angelic kind of themes with them.
Now, is that just because those are the special effects that they had, or was that because that was part of his imagination?
That was
okay.
his thing.
Okay.
He very pointedly had the Battlestar, because you used a phrase that I'm going to come back to, the battle arc.
Yes.
He very clearly was creating a parallel with the Noah's Ark story. He had originally pitched a show that was a science fiction Noah's Ark first that didn't go anywhere.
Okay.
And then Star Wars happened, and he took his original idea and whacked a few things around on it and changed a few things, and that became Battlestar Galactica.
Was he a Mormon?
Yes.
Because in 78, the Mormon Church undergoes a major change in its doctrine.
Yes.
And I don't want to step on that if you're going to get to that
Oh,
later.
no, go ahead. Bring it up. Yeah.
They essentially, I don't want to say rewrite, because I don't know that that's correct. They amend?
Okay. Go ahead and say what you're going to say.
Their doctrine to allow, to take away the idea that black people are stained by sin, and to allow them to be, I believe, bishops.
A bishop is any adult male member of the church.
Oh, okay. I know that they could now walk diagonally, and that's the part that
that's really critical.
Yeah, and you needed a black one and a white one.
Yeah, from a strategic standpoint, you need that. Yeah. No, the theological point is not that there was any. It wasn't. It's not treated in Mormon theology as an emendation or what it is the further fulfillment of prophetic notification.
Okay,
I'm
now we're ready for this part.
Essentially, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
It's Joseph Smith was the prophet,
right?
And he stated, that all of the prophets before him were prophets. He is another prophet come to bring completion to the true faith.
Yeah.
He never said he was the last prophet.
Okay.
And so within Mormonism, the head of the Mormon Church is recognized as being the latest incarnation of he is a prophet, and the things that head of the Mormon Church states are when he speaks in that way, he is prophetic. He says, "I have received word that this thing."
That's similar. Well, I don't know how parallel it is, but it sounds parallel to the Sikh gurus, like the first 10 Sikh gurus.
Yeah. There are some similarities, definitely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. As opposed to in Islam, it's no.
It's done.
Muhammad was the last one.
Yeah.
Ain't gonna be another one.
Right.
That's it. Anybody claiming to be one is an apostate, and that is not how Mormonism approaches.
Same with Christianity, right? Like I'm the Alpha and the Omega. I'm done.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I'll be
And,
back.
Yeah, I'll
Get this shit fixed.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
but
Figure all this out. Look busy.
Right.
But and within Christianity, there's the idea of the development of sacred tradition over time.
Sure.
And there is within Catholicism, there's the idea that the Pope speaks ex cathedra, meaning the Latin.
Yeah.
But when
From
he
the people.
speaks, when he speaks in that mode,
Right.
he is speaking on behalf of the church,
Right.
and thus he is inspired by the Holy Spirit,
Right.
which is not the same thing as prophecy. And modern popes don't ever say that they're speaking ex cathedra. They do say, look, based on study of doctrine, based on looking at this is
We're
how we
carrying
ought to be
these
doing
traditions
things.
forward in this way.
This is what we're doing.
Yeah.
Francis has done that with a number of encyclicals about environmentalism and about, with his statements about, who am I to judge
Right.
gay people? We should be welcoming them into the church. We should be making our, spaces welcoming. He hasn't ever said it's not a sin, but he has said we should be welcoming them because,
Right. He said other stuff too, but I'm going to leave that be.
Well,
We're
that's the...
We're talking about space Mormons
Yeah,
tonight,
we're talking about space Mormons. Yeah. So, a Soviet critic...
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay, first, to complete talking about the plot of the original show, the 220 ships are supposed to be the last ragtag survivors of humanity, but this always bugged me. Multiple times during the show, they wind up coming to a planet and finding a whole bunch of people there. And it's like, okay, you never establish, are these aliens who just look like people? Or, like, are the 12 tribes not actually the be-all, end-all of the survival of humanity, in which case the stakes are not nearly as high as you've made it out to be. So...
That's very Aeneid, though. Aeneas is bouncing all over the place. He's carrying all of Troy with him. Yeah. Starts off with 20 ships, by the way. Only 2 shy.
Yeah.
Or no, you said 220.
220.
Yeah.
220.
Only 200 shy.
Yeah.
And he starts off with 20 ships, and he lands on an island, and he runs into Helenus, who's a prince from Troy. He's like, oh, shit, cool. We'll stay here for a while. Then a plague happens, and he stabs a tree. It gets weird. Yeah. But, like, he keeps running. And then later on, it's like, oh, yeah, and Antenor, he went up north. That's why there's the Veii. And, like, he's constantly running into other Trojans who apparently got out before he did.
Or like there were colonies established before the war, or trading something.
Yeah, it wasn't those things, but there were some things like that.
Somehow, yeah. So same kind of thing.
Yes.
Yeah. Inspired by the same kind of sources, so maybe unintentionally evoking the classics.
It's a Mediterranean tradition to have advanced people of your thing when you're the last people of your thing.
So there's this weird thing going on there, which I never got. I don't know if there was ever really an in-universe explanation for it. A Soviet critic argued, this is in Pravda, Soviet critic argued that the plot of the first episode was clear evidence of anti-Soviet hysteria in the face of the ongoing SALT talks.
Wow. Is there clear evidence of that?
No.
I mean, could you say that the Cylons are the Soviets?
I think, well, I can get into that a little bit now, and in a little bit more detail later on when I'm comparing it to the newer show. I think the perception that we all had of the Soviets as being this monolithic, calculating, emotionless, communal monster.
We did have the Olympics where we saw their use of technology and obvious cheating,
and all
etc.
And so
technophobic. I mean, there was that fear of the missile gap. There was, I mean, the whole reason that we came to the table for SALT was because we thought we were losing. Yeah. So there is a technological aspect to it.
I think there is an argument to be made that was part of our subconscious Zeitgeist.
Sure.
Not to the extent that the Pravda critic was trying to say.
Well, and everybody always tells on themselves in their critique. So Pravda's like, these people are propagandizing against America. Okay. Because you would if you could.
Because you would if you could.
Yeah. No, I get
pretty
that.
Much, yeah.
I get that.
So there's an undercurrent in the original show. There's an undercurrent of this idea of post-apocalypse. Okay, because the colonies have all been
It's a
destroyed.
pretty defining moment.
Well, but
really. Okay.
but
okay.
it doesn't feel. What I'm trying to say is, it
Oh.
doesn't feel post-apocalyptic. It feels like a Bible-flavored Buck Rogers episode. The main characters are colonial warriors who do most of their fighting from the cockpit of a Viper starfighter. Mm-hmm. My dad was a big fan.
Okay.
Obviously,
And these are very, as I recall, they're very angular with a bubble on top, right?
Yeah. The F-16.
Oh, okay.
Officially nicknamed the Fighting Falcon. That was General Dynamics gave it the name Fighting Falcon.
Right.
Was nicknamed the Viper by Air Force pilots because the angles, the triangular shape,
right.
the
single
cock,
engine
the bubble,
in the back.
single engine. Although actually the Colonial Starfighter had 3 engines in a triangle.
Oh.
But it So it does somewhat.
That looks almost F4-ish too, like the nose. But yeah, I get you.
If you If you squint and look at an F-16,
same colors,
you can see a Viper.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it entered service in August of 1978.
No kidding.
Like literally right before the show came on the air. Now, effects quality for the show was remarkably high for the day.
Yes.
It had really good special effects for something made in 1978, which meant it was really expensive, which is part of the reason it only got 1 season. The less said about the revival in 1980, the better.
I think there's something tickling my brain about that. Yeah. Was it a miniseries?
It was supposed to be a series, but it didn't last.
Okay.
Because the less said about it, the
better. It was
better.
panned.
They made it to Earth.
Oh.
And then they had to come up with a way to keep it a sci-fi show, space thing. And so you found out in the show that like everybody from the colonies was like Jor-El. Like they were super strong. They weren't quite bulletproof, but they were stronger than normal. They were like I'm gonna get a little bit. I'm gonna say that there's a little bit of the less fortunate side of Mormon theology going on, in that these are space people from these mystical planets who show up, and they are stronger and wiser and better than earthbound humanity. And so it was the writers couldn't figure out what to do. Okay. And so it floundered and just kind of fell apart.
So it was the aftermath version of Battlestar.
Pretty much, yeah. And it sucked.
Did the original season end logically, or did they figure they were going to get picked up and then so they never wrote a good ending?
They wrote an ending that was sufficient unto the day. There was a chance they might get picked up, but they were pretty sure. Well, we're gonna give just some kind of an ending just in case. So, fast forward. Okay, what do we got? Oh yeah, the motorbikes. Yeah, wow. I was afraid they flew.
Oh,
yeah,
they
had fold-out wings.
What was that movie?
It was bad.
What was that movie?
Which movie?
Megaforce.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, same time period. Yeah, yep. No, garbage. Absolute stinking, burning garbage. So, the new series, Battlestar Reimagined, I'm referring to it as, aired as a miniseries in 2003, originally. And then it got picked up on Sci-Fi as a series in 2004.
Right, which really kind of put Sci-Fi Channel on the map. They were there for a bit anyway.
But
they became destination TV as a result.
They did. And it had 13 episodes in the first season, continued for a total of 4 seasons, 76 episodes in all. Now, it had the same basic premise. There's 12 colonies wiped out in a surprise attack. This time, the surprise attack is explicitly nuclear.
Yes.
We watch in the pilot as the mushroom clouds bloom all over the surface of the planet below, and we see...
Of Caprica,
right. Specifically. And we see the Cylon standing there as the blast wave hits.
Right.
That really...
Watching the damage she has done.
Yeah, that iconic moment, seeing that happening.
And prior to her doing that, the opening scene, I believe, is for like 44 years or however long, I was gonna say the Americans.
Yeah.
The humans send a representative to meet with the Cylons, and they never show up. And then she shows up and kisses the shit out of him.
Yeah.
Which he just kind of accepts because she's hot as hell.
Yeah.
And he just kind of accepts, even though it's really weird for that to be a thing. And then does she kill him?
No, a pair of warriors walk in and just shoot him full of holes.
That's what it is. And the warriors are the toasters.
The warriors are full-on toasters,
right.
Only slicked up.
Yeah.
All of the more angular lines have been
smooth.
More organicized and smoothed out, and I mean they looked vicious.
Yes.
Like the original Cylon warriors looked big, hulking, intimidating.
They look like children's toys, though.
Well, because that was what you wanted to, market.
Well, also they looked like an update of Lost in Space's robot.
Well, yeah, with the tubing.
Yeah, which is also, I joked before, but Squiggy, what was his name? Twiggy. Yeah, Twiggy.
Yeah. Twiggy.
He had that tubing too.
Bitty.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things is if you're trying to build a robot that you're actually going to have somebody wearing as a costume.
Yeah, you
that's
want
technically
articulation.
A good way to get that's an easy way to get articulation without actually having to study medieval armoring.
Yeah.
To figure out how am I
or show flesh.
Or show skin. Yeah. And so the original Cylons gave off this menacing aura that was based on them being big, hulking, and like we're gonna take a football player as our model and turn that into a soldier robot. Right. And they had the helmet that had the really obvious Romanesque crest on the top.
Yes.
They were referred to as centurions. I mean, it was really the overtones were very overt.
Yes.
So the new ones looked.
They were sleek.
Mean.
Yeah.
Like the original ones looked intimidating. The new ones looked like satanic.
Yeah.
Like really genuinely like evil. And that brings me around to talking about the important differences in tone.
Okay.
Between the two series. The original series felt like a Western in space. I mean, yeah, Lorne Greene.
Yeah, I mean from Bonanza, right?
Bonanza, yeah. Yeah. They had frontier planets with literal saloons.
Oh,
like all the time you'd see Starbucks. What was Starbucks spending all the time doing? Playing poker in a bar.
Okay.
You're supposed to be the last ragtag survivors of humanity. How the fuck did you find a bar? Like in a role-playing game scenario,
right?
As the game master, I'd be like, okay, tell me what you're doing as the game starts. and Starbucks player goes, I'm in a bar playing poker.
Right.
You're one of the ragtag survivors of humanity. Point to the character sheet. I can always find a fucking bar. Like that was. I spent 5 points on this trait.
Right.
I'm using it. Like the fleet was treated like a wagon train.
Oh,
like the whole feeling of it all was we got to keep everybody together. Got to circle everything. Fight off the Indians. When the fleet ran into Cylons in the original series. It was because the Cylons were somehow in their path.
So they happened upon them every time.
Yeah, they'd happen upon them.
Okay.
But it was like running into Native Americans on the Oregon Trail.
Okay.
It was like we're traveling through this area of space, and our reconnaissance people have found that there are, what did the Cylons call their battles? The big battle stations that they had, the gigantic like twin diamond on top of each other. Big hulking. We found a couple of Cylon battle cruisers, whatever you want to call them, in this set. We got to figure out how we're going to get around them, and it was like the Cylons were a threat, but it didn't feel like they were being actively hunted.
Okay.
And the struggles of the survivors felt like domestic issues being handled by Adama as the patriarch of the family. It was Bonanza.
Right.
And it was Adama as Noah. In charge of which literally he actually was.
Okay.
I mean, that's the character of Adama was originally Noah in the first idea that Larson had come up with.
Okay.
So, it's an overt thing. And nobody ever questioned him.
Okay.
We never saw any other authority figure. He
was it.
Yeah. Apollo was an always dutiful, I'm always going to do what my father tells me to do. I'm going to be the pillar of righteousness. I'm going to be the good son all the time. The only one of the warriors who ever gave anybody any lip was Starbuck,
Right.
because that was his role narratively,
Sure.
was to be that guy.
Do you want to say it or do you want me to?
Go.
He was the Apollonian ideal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
His name
Name
was
him
Apollo. So
That's what happens. That's kind of
You don't get more
You
Apollonian than
don't get more
Apollo.
Apollonian than actual Apollo.
Yeah.
And in that sense, Starbuck was a bit more of the Hermes. If we're going to go with the Greeks,
Okay.
he was a hotshot pilot. He was also a hothead
Right.
and a wisecracker and all that stuff. He always wound up on the, he was a loyal colonial warrior, but he was Dionysian. He was,
Right.
in the literal sense, he was more interested in wine, women, and song. Given the opportunity, I'm going to be in a bar playing poker with, a scantily clad
Something or
70s
other,
70s idea of a sci-fi gown,
Right.
woman, on my arm, rather than off actually fighting. But when it has
Right.
to happen, I'm going to be good at it, and so it was a wagon train in space. It was what Roddenberry had talked about Star Trek being,
Right. Which, by the way, is in production at this point as a movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so, the original series was entertaining, and the original series had its moments of genuine drama. There were a few episodes that were really well written, but a lot of it, and it had an audience. It had people who were fans of it, but it didn't hold together. Like, its own internal logic never quite completely made sense. And this idea that we're on the run,
Right.
We're not really on the idea was more, we're in this endurance test are we going to make it to Earth?
Okay.
It was kind of the feelings like we are following Moses to the promised land.
Sure.
We're going to have to wander for 40 years before we get there. Intensely biblical.
Okay.
The new series felt like a real war.
Yeah.
Felt like a real siege. Cylons were actively in pursuit, hunting for the fleet. Their goal was, we got to wipe humanity out.
Completely.
And as the series went on, we figured out why they were motivated by that.
Right.
But from the get-go, it was, no, we are going to kill every last organic one of you bitches.
Actual like space genocide.
Yeah, it was intentional space genocide.
Yeah.
From the get-go. The first episode of the series, not the miniseries, but the first episode of the series, was literally a running battle.
Yeah.
And they had to jump every 33 minutes.
Yeah, that's right.
Because at minute 34, the Raiders found him. And made that amazing, flash in noise, streaking through. And people started dying.
Yes.
I mean...
Because they came in and just wrecked house. They didn't come in and form up. They didn't come in and menace.
They
came in guns a-blazing.
Yeah, they came in immediately shooting. At the start of every episode, they showed the total number of surviving humans.
And it was updated every
And
year,
it was updated every time.
Yep.
And for the first several episodes, the number kept going down.
Yep.
And it was a huge deal. Like, the emotional payoff when the intro finished on that first episode where you looked at the counter and the number was higher. Like, if you were invested in the series, that was a moment where you were like, yes!
Yeah, we got one.
We got one,
Yeah.
The stakes were always intense. They were always high stakes.
Very.
The sense of pending annihilation was ever present. Okay, I mean, it was a stressful show to watch. Like, it was addictive, but like,
yeah, it really was.
There was always a threat. The issues in the fleet were portrayed as existential threats. No less serious than the Cylons. When people in the fleet were having a conflict, it was like, no, we need to squash this right now. People are going to die like tomorrow.
Right.
Because you're busy arguing over whatever petty dick-waving problem you're having right now.
And the very the very things that it required to stay alive were so important too, and hanging by a thread. Like I remember a ship lost, its connection to the reserve water tank or something like that, and a bunch of water was lost, and they're like, we have to ration everybody now.
Yeah.
Like everybody's on ration.
Yeah.
Like that was a big deal.
Oh yeah, and everybody was constantly exhausted.
Yep.
Everybody was harrowed and worn out.
Yes.
And
traumatized.
And heavily traumatized.
Yeah.
And interpersonal drama between our main characters was like a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was not any conflict between, like in the original series, Apollo would kind of chide Starbuck for being an irresponsible, nudnik, but there was never, like, they were never
huge
loggerheads.
Fights. Right.
In the new series, at the beginning of the series, Apollo and Starbuck like aren't friends.
Well, and Starbuck is literally in the brig because she decked Adama's right-hand man.
Yeah. Ty.
Yeah, Ty.
Because she punched Ty.
Right.
By the way, Saul Ty.
Yeah.
Forever.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
No kidding.
No, the dude lost a fucking eye in interrogation and never broke.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
I just think of like what a drunk he is, and when he meets his wife, what dipshit he becomes.
Well, yeah.
So,
yes.
He's a deeply flawed and interesting character.
He's a deeply flawed and an amazingly interesting character, and for me, the defining moment that leads me to say Saul Ty fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Is later on in the series, spoiler alert, when he finds out he's one of the final five.
Yeah.
They all stare at each other for a second. They hear the alarm klaxons go off.
Right.
They're like, what do we do? He says, I'm a colonial officer.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And like, he knows, even in that moment of literal existential, like, I don't know
crisis.
I don't know who the hell I am.
I'm gonna do this.
He figures out who he is. He makes a choice, and it's like, these are this is what I value. This is the commitment I've made.
Right.
I'm
gonna follow this
before he gets the info dump and remembers that somehow he's been immortal for the last several thousand years.
Right. Right.
I mean, before all the weird mystical shit comes in, and we're gonna get into that. Before he remembers all that, his first instinct is no. I took an oath.
Right. That's a good point.
And
I guess my problem for him is that he's, Adama. Adama is right there overshadowing him the whole time.
Yeah.
And I love me some Adama.
Oh.
I really do.
Yeah.
He's a grumpy old fuck who gets stuff wrong. And he's got like such a strong moral compass.
He is one of the two characters in the show who is a pillar of integrity.
Yes.
And what's remarkable about the new show is you have a character named Apollo who is not the Apollonian ideal.
True.
The Apollonian ideal.
Do you want me to guess?
Yeah.
Oh, what was his name? Chief.
No.
Oh.
Hilo.
Oh, shit, you're right. And he and Adama disagree a lot.
Yes. And he's always the one on the side of,
he's the Doc McCoy.
Yeah.
He's the Doc McCoy.
He totally is. And,
he's compassionate.
When he and Adama disagree,
right.
Adama is doing something that's pragmatic and necessary.
That's a good point.
And Hilo is always the one arguing on the side of principle. Hilo is the paladin. Hilo is you're making it's a necessary compromise, but you're still making a compromise.
Right.
And I'm not happy about it.
And this changes who we are.
Now,
I got to say, I went to Chief, and here's why. Chief was the one who I thought was trying to hold on to his humanity the hardest and the most. And that struggle that he had, and it included the bad and the good. Yeah. He also unionized, and you know what a sucker I am.
Well,
yeah,
unionizers. Of course, yeah.
No. But he
any kind of labor organization, you're going to get
I'm like, ooh, those guys.
Right there.
But at the same time, he really did. He was, I don't know, like you have all this command crew, stuff like that. You always have a bridge crew on a sci-fi thing, the decision makers. He was the one for whom the decisions were made, and he was the one who had to dirty his hands carrying out their will. Yeah. So. Yeah. he had, I want to say almost, he had more of a stake in the existence, even though he turned out to be a Cylon.
Yeah.
I
get what you're saying.
Yeah. But you're right. Hilo is a paragon. He is an exemplar.
Yes.
So you're right.
Now here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
There was not a single character on the show in the newer series that was not compelling.
That's very true.
Like one of the things that truly made it, like you said, destination TV was even when you were looking at Baltar, just like you
guys,
what are you? Yeah, what are you like? Could you be any more of a simpering fucking coward? Like, no matter, you'd be throwing shit at the screen, but he was still so compelling to watch.
Yep.
Because you could totally understand why he was failing that moral crisis. Mm-hmm. And God, but he failed all of them.
Well, and he was such an id,
everyone. Yeah. Oh Lord, I just had an idea of who the other character is there was another character I thought of from genre that like that's him, and I got it and I lost it. But it was that character who it's like if he's faced with a temptation, like it's Chekhov's temptation.
Right.
If you put a temptation in front of Baltar, he's gonna fall to it. Yeah. Like it's inevitable. With another, just like with Hilo, you put a temptation in front of Hilo, he's not going to.
That's true.
But when you get the what makes them compelling is how they respond in those cases. And with everybody else in between, it was always a question.
That's true. I especially like that you had a character, I don't know if you recall, he was only there for a few episodes, named Crashdown, who was a very, seemed like a decent guy, seemed like a decent officer and stuff like that. And then when they had a mission and it went sideways, he reverted purely to the West Point doctrine of, okay, paragraph 1, we have to do this. Paragraph 2. And how he was he could only stick to the doctrine of officer training.
Yeah.
And he essentially was about to shoot Callie for disobedience.
Yeah.
And he was so clearly wrong and couldn't get around that. You still felt for him.
Yeah.
All that was true.
Because he was in an impossible situation. Yeah. And you could totally see how it was that somebody
thoroughly incompetent could end up there.
End there, yeah. Yeah. And so we see civilian authority. Mm-hmm. Like the president is a major leading character. There was no civilian president in the original series.
And she's also 46th in line for power.
Yeah.
She was the Secretary of Education.
Yeah.
On essentially a tour of the Pampanito, and that becomes the thing.
And she's civilian authority. And Adama immediately says, no. She's the president.
Right.
And anybody who has an issue with that needs to take it up with me because I'm subservient to the civilian power. And that was a huge deal.
Yes.
Adama's one of Adama's defining, I don't want to say conflicts, but one of his defining issues in the series was always about the role of the military versus the role of civilian authority. There was never anything like that in the original series.
That's true.
Never came up. Adama was never questioned. Lauren Green, you don't question Lauren Green.
Right.
Right. You just don't do it. And, Edward James Olmos, you questioned him.
Yeah. Well, he allowed you to.
He allowed you to.
But he and again, he was a gruff prick, but there was a space for a civilian government to do what it does.
And he was intellectually honest about,
yes,
I don't like the fact that you're asking me that question. It pisses me off you're asking. It's an impertinent fucking question, but it has to be asked.
Right.
Yeah. And Adama.
And he also really came to loggerheads with the president quite often.
Yeah.
With Madam President, even as their friendship grew and blossomed.
And turned into more than just a friendship.
It did, and at the same time, along those the steps along toward that were still very much huge conflict. Where I'm like, oh shit, there goes their friendship.
Yeah,
I remember thinking that several times.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, okay. So so you've got a civilian leadership, which never was meant to be. In fact, she was retiring that day. Remember?
That I don't remember, but yeah,
she's going
I think,
to him
yeah.
to resign of some sort.
Yeah.
Because she also had been diagnosed
with
with cancer.
Right. Yeah.
And he is now responsible for keeping her in charge so that everyone's morale goes okay, so that everybody doesn't kill themselves off.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were a lot. There was just fraught with conflict.
So the reimagining in general was darker, way darker, more morally ambiguous, and directly confronted the political events of the day.
It's time for a break.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Hey, Geek Nation, it's Damian.
And Ed, and we're here to pitch a book at you. It's from a good friend of mine and a good friend of the show, Bishop O'Connell. The books are the American Fairy Tale trilogy, The Stolen, The Forgotten, The Returned. If you're a fan of urban fantasy, you're going to love these. If you're a fan of Celtic folklore, you're going to love these even more. They're very well researched in terms of the stories and everything that they tie into. And he's a very good guy, and like I said, a good friend of the show. So go out, pick them up, read them, and now back to us being smart Alex. So when we left off, talking about the fact that the reimagining was a lot darker.
Yes.
You know, I mean, just in general, it was a lot darker, and it directly spoke to what was going on in the world at the time.
Right.
Now, the big events that were in the headlines showed up in the show. And we're going to get into detail about that. But,
sure.
You know,
so just to refresh me here, the original one with Lauren Green was 79.
Yes.
Okay.
Hold on. Let me make sure.
Not like that wasn't a dark time.
Yeah, 78.
Okay, 78.
September 17, 78.
Okay, so yeah, we're talking the Camp David Accords, which ultimately are somewhat optimistic because you actually have peace. So
well, yeah, and remember that Pravda, the critic in Pravda, as we mentioned, an hour ago,
right?
Said that this is, Western decadent panic about the SALT agreements. This is all anti-Soviet propaganda,
right?
Which I don't know why my Russian accent sounds so much like an Austrian who's been to Moscow, but but you get what I'm saying. And so if there was any commentary in the original series, it was covert.
Was it?
And it wasn't. And really, the original series was an attempt to make money off of the sci-fi craze,
right?
In the wake of Star Wars,
right? And
it was treated as, written as, and it just was escapist fiction. It was a wagon train. It was literally a wagon train in space.
Yeah.
Everybody talks about Star Trek, Gene Roddenberry having written a wagon train in space.
Yeah.
Battlestar Galactica actually really was. There was a trail of ships.
Yes.
And occasionally they'd be attacked by Cylons. Engines, yeah. And again, because there was this overt, well, not quite totally overt, but there was a very clear Mormon allegory to it, and of course Mormonism is tied intrinsically to the expansion westward in the United States, right?
Well, and I would point out also 78, 79, you still, I mean, there's only 3 networks really.
Yeah.
Cable is just getting introduced into some areas.
Yeah.
So that brings it up to 13 channels.
It's not going to become, that brings it up to, in 78, 79, it would have been probably about 12 or 13 channels.
But also, more importantly, they, like you said, they're pulling off of the importance of Star Wars, but also Star Trek had just gotten canceled only less than a decade earlier.
Yeah.
And so
there's some residual
right. And also, when was
there.
Bonanza canceled? When was Little House on the Prairie? When were the Waltons? Those were all in the 70s.
Oh, yeah.
So having a Western in the late 70s still made tons of sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although by that time, the heyday of Westerns on TV was the 50s and 60s, but I swear to God, folks, I didn't mean to do that. But, the golden age of Westerns was in the 50s and 60s.
Right.
And by the 70s, everybody was talking about, oh man, the Western is dying.
Sure.
Which to us nowadays is really funny because you had Little House on the Prairie, you had Bonanza that ran for forever,
Petticoat Junction,
Gunsmoke ran forever, Wild Wild West.
Oh yeah.
Was like the opposite end of the spectrum of we're going to have a sci-fi Western.
Right. We're going to have a Western sci-fi.
We're going to have a Western science fiction story. Like, ooh,
Yeah.
And I think the TV series, as a total aside, I think is underrated. The level of we're just really having a lot of fun with this. That was the way it was delivered with the kind of wink it was delivered with, while at the same time being played totally. No, we're playing this totally straight. This is a spy show. Right. This is a spy show in the Old West. Wink.
Right.
And it had a lot of cleverness. That everybody gets kind of locked up in how goofy it was.
Sure.
And they don't want to give it credit for being really smart.
Sure.
So just complete segue there. But
also, though, I was going to point out that in addition to all of those things being on TV in the 70s, you also had spy TV shows.
Oh, yeah.
So the idea of intrigue was not new.
Well, yeah, Man from U.N.C.L.E. was in the 60s.
Right.
I'm trying to think what spy shows were on in the 70s, but in the
Mission
60s,
Impossible was in the 60s, right?
Mission Impossible was in the 60s. Secret Agent Man.
Right.
Danger Man was the British version of that.
Okay.
And then as a response to that was The Prisoner.
Okay.
Which was a deconstruction of all of the tropes that came out of spy TV, the genre. Which at some point I got to figure out a hook for The Prisoner because that'd be.
That was very spy though.
Well, it was kind of spy superheroes.
Yeah.
It was spies as 3-color comic book.
Super spies.
Yeah, it was, and so I'd say it qualifies. I'd give it credit for that because the themes and the tone of it were very much we're gonna turn James Bond into overtly no they're superheroes.
Right.
And that was kind of The Saint, which was like a spy show, even though the Saint was a master thief. But it again
still
in tone intrigue. Yeah.
Well, and that's kind of my point is that what you have as a bedrock to the old one is you've got spy intrigue. You've got a lot of genres going on. Going into
you do.
Going into it. In the 2000s, genres have kind of been broken. You had sitcoms. They had their heyday in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah.
You have, but it's a lot of sitcoms. As far as dramas go,
huge.
You have procedural dramas.
Remember, comedy was a huge big deal in the 80s. Like on TV, that was the biggest genre for a long time.
Sure.
I think, and I'm totally, this is coming completely out of my rectum at this point, but my hot take on it is, I think because, as we've talked about before, as a society, we had gotten to this place where we were numb to the horror of the doomsday clock hovering at 2 minutes to midnight.
Yeah.
And so on a certain level, it was like, dude, I just need somebody to make me laugh for half an hour.
Yeah, but here's the thing, that laugh for half an hour turned into laugh for 2 hours.
Yeah.
TGIF in the 80s, and most of those were family sitcoms.
Yes.
And very often they were based around the specter of divorce, which is an interesting anxiety that they're looking at because you had no-fault divorces in the 70s finally.
Yeah, well, you had no-fault divorce in the 70s, and that was when the divorce rate skyrocketed originally. To the point where
because women could finally get out.
And you and I, and you, George, the three of us, are all part of that generation where we had a lot of friends, or we were kids who, were coming from a circumstance where their parents were divorced. That was like it became, my buddy Scott in high school.
Right. Can he come stay over?
And oh no, I can't do that. I'm going to be at my dad's place.
Right. It becomes a trope.
It became a trope, became a thing. And so it makes sense that would be kind of this.
So that's the 80s.
Yeah.
The 90s sitcoms were young professionals, or slightly older professionals because Frasier. But the 90s were young people having sex. And also you start to see queer folk getting in there.
Showing up.
And having central characters.
Yeah.
Instead of the sassy gay friend down the hall.
Yeah, Will and Grace being the,
the most obvious, but also Ellen.
Example. Yeah.
But and I want to say Brett Butler, but I could be wrong there. Not the baseball player, but the comedian. But I don't think she was gay.
No.
But you have a good deal of that kind of thing. But it's about young people in their 20s experiencing life as the bedrock for what's to come.
Bildungsroman.
Say again?
It's Bildungsroman. It's the comedic genre becomes the coming of age saga.
Yes.
That's
okay.
The German word for the genre of the coming of age stuff.
Okay,
Bildungsroman.
Okay. I thought you were just calling me a Roman.
Yeah, no. Well, I mean,
Well, why not?
You would.
When in Venice.
When in Venice.
So. But my point is that in the early 2000s, when the second one comes out, it is built on because it's not like we didn't have a bunch of wars going on in the 80s or in the 70s. We just came out of Vietnam.
Well, yeah, the 70s. I'm gonna push back a little.
Okay.
In the 70s, we just came out of Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
In the 80s. We had the specter of if any war gets sufficiently hot anywhere, there's a chance we're all going to die.
Right.
And we did have
even though Vietnam got sufficiently hot and we didn't die.
Think, but still, Vietnam doesn't count. Quote any number of Republicans when they've had enough to drink. We lost because of the press. But anyway, we could have a whole conversation about that.
Which there were episodes about that in the new BSG.
Yeah,
and there weren't in the old BSG.
There weren't before. Yeah. But we had the invasion of Grenada, which was Reagan's
recasting of Vietnam.
It was recasting of Vietnam, and it was what Henry V wanted when he invaded France in 1414. It was a short, victorious war.
Oh yeah.
It was what every executive leader of any country
dreams
ever
about.
like wet dreams about.
Yes.
Not it's no. I have a reason that I can point to that will be accepted as being legitimate, and I know I'm going to win.
Right.
And so there's going to be, if there's any blowback, it's going to be minimal.
Right.
And everybody, and because it's a conflict. Everybody is instinctively
they're all gonna love me
because we're team animals, we're troop creatures. Everybody is going to get behind me. They're all going to love me, and my support numbers will go through the roof. And so we had that.
Yeah.
And there were other times. We kind of flirted with. What are we gonna do when the Falklands happen?
There's Nicaragua.
There's the
Sandinistas. There's a lot of us.
There's a lot of us throwing money and guns at other people who are doing our fighting for us.
True.
There's a lot. So you could. I will accept there were a lot of proxy wars.
Okay.
But I think it's important to note that during this whole time, during that decade, there were very few times where American soldiers
were in danger,
had boots on the ground, and were actually, getting shot at.
Okay, that's fair.
And that's important because of what we're going to be talking about
in the next episode
when we pick up.
Well, before we get to the part where we cut off, what I wanted to say is the bedrock for Conestoga wagons in space.
Yes,
was the end of the Vietnam War. Was family and Western entertainment.
Yeah,
was Dallas. Was
is that family entertainment?
It was.
I mean, there's a Western motif, but you know,
but it was family entertainment. It was just awful families.
It was just,
but
the families were the entertainment, and they were horrible, shitty people. Yeah, okay, all right.
But you have all of that.
Except and Bobby. Bobby wasn't horrible people. Bobby was a goddamn angel.
He was the only good one.
He was the only.
It was all a dream. But you have.
JR should have stayed shot.
But you have all that, and you also have just a little bit before that sci-fi and spy movies. So you have this menace that's built in, colliding with, gee, isn't it nice? Plus westerns, plus sci-fi. Boom, there you go. And in 2000s, you have Battlestar Galactica. Pardon me. You have sci-fi as kind of the bedrock. Young people sci-fi which is important because all of your main characters are older folk trying to rein in the younger folk.
Okay.
Okay, and reacting to them, and there's a generational divide that absolutely plays out.
And I think that's all stuff we can get into.
But also you also have building into that medical procedurals.
Okay.
You have ER.
Oh yeah.
And you have I think you had Chicago Hope, but who really cared?
ER was the one that mattered.
But you have ER, and you also
Goose as the trauma surgeon.
Yeah, and it worked.
Yeah.
But you have ER, and it was really a big deal.
Yeah.
And you also have, I'm trying to think of what other dramas you had going into the 2000s. Dramas really kind of taking a licking until the global war on terror.
Oh yeah.
Because then it's all about the urgency stuff. It's all about
techno thriller.
24.
Tom
Torture's
Clancy,
okay. But also you had police. You had a glut of police procedurals going into that time and around that time.
Oh yeah.
The only other interesting point I wanted to make about just like here's what's in the bedrock that led to this. This is where it sprung out of the swamp from which it came. In the late 90s, early 2000s, you had tough guy competitions, and you had an explosion of cable TV channels.
Oh yeah,
that
vast explosion of cable TV channels.
Absolutely catered to much more niche stuff. In the late 70s, you had boxing on HBO. And you had cable exploding out to what at that time was niche, but there were only 12 of them.
Yeah.
You have these parallels.
Much bigger niches.
Yes. Yeah. They had to be. Yeah. They had to be.
You know.
But you have a parallel there, birthing Battlestar Galactica for both. And that was kind of my point, is each one takes on the characteristics playing contrary to what had just come.
Okay. Playing off of...
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
I can see that.
Distinguishing itself.
Yeah, distinguish itself from what was out there at the time.
Anyway, thank you for coming to my TED Talk during your podcast.
Well, that's fine.
Yeah.
No, I mean, you know.
So next time.
Time, we're gonna get into the specifically the headlines that were going on, the events that were taking place at the time of the reboot.
Mm-hmm.
And get into some of the details of just exactly how that was explicitly reflected in the show.
Okay.
And also, that the kind of mystical, quasi-religious stuff that was involved in it.
Oh yeah.
And I know you'll be able to talk about how that ties into other stuff that was going on in the media landscape at the time.
Oh yeah.
Because I've heard you go on about that a couple of times outside of the podcast, so everybody else will now get to hear about it.
Nice.
But so yeah, that's us halfway through.
Yeah.
Battlestar Galactica. I can't say it either right now.
BSG.
Battlestar Galactica, BSG, and the Global War on Terror.
Cool.
And so until next time, or do you want to do a takeaway for now? At this point, or
I think I kind of blew my wad on here's the bedrocks. I think the takeaway is that BSG is playing against type both times.
Okay.
And I think it's interesting that that's one way to distinguish yourself as sci-fi is to play against the current type.
Okay.
I find that interesting, and I think that if we see another... by the way, Star Trek existed in both times.
It did, and that actually leads into kind of my kind of hot takeaway right now is when you say playing against type...
Uh-huh.
The most recent, by that time we'd had Deep Space Nine. By the time of the reboot. And you've Star Trek had already...
You've had Enterprise, too.
Yeah, you have, which, yes, you have. And we've already talked about how 9/11 ruined the hell out of that.
I think that was episode 3.
That's episode, 3?
Something
3 or 4, yeah. And so, but you have Gene Roddenberry.
Sorry, it's one of the only episodes I ever kept to one episode.
Yeah. It might be the only one.
There's one that went long, but yes.
So yeah, but
Gene Roddenberry.
Gene. God bless Gene. Mm-hmm. So, but his universe, had already been taken in this same direction.
Yeah.
By these forces in the Zeitgeist, and we can kind of tie that in, I think, next time.
Oh yeah.
But it's interesting to note that Star Trek has the reputation of being the happy fluffy sci-fi TV series forever, And before BSG showed up again, it had already gotten darker and grittier, and so on. Yeah. So, anyway,
well, let's skip past what we're reading. Just so that people can finally turn off the engine in their car. And next time we'll talk to y'all about what we're reading. But for a Geek History of Time, I'm Damian Harmony. You can find me at @Harmony on the Twitter, and you can find us at Geek History Time on the Twitter.
On the Twitter machine.
And you are?
I'm Ed Blaylock. You can find me at EH Blaylock on the Twitters. And until next time, watch out for Cylons.